you probably heard about the concept of shifting things left in the pipeline, talking about security, quality, and anything else. What does it mean? So if you imagine your software production as a pipeline, which has many steps in it. So basically, the earlier you do something in this pipeline, the better. Quality is not the thing that's an added value. It means that you cannot produce bad code, give it to someone to test, for example, and expect that this step of testing in the process will add quality to this code. It will add rework because it will detect issues, give things back to you, and then you will work more on these issues. And basically, any form of post control of anything, security, functional defects, etc., it decreases the efficiency of the overall production process. What increases the efficiency is the author of the job, which is you when you write code. When author understands that it's him or her who is responsible for the actual quality built in the piece of software from the very start. The actual constraints of quality are different, of course, depending on your circumstances. Like you might be building a prototype. It doesn't make sense to spend a year to silver plate the code you're producing because it will be thrown out in a week. But if you're working on an enterprise solution and many more people for many more years will read your code, not write it, it makes more sense, of course, to spend more time on the code quality. So as an engineer, you should be aware about constraints within which you are designing your software. But within those constraints, you should not ask anyone whether you can do a quality job. You should just do it. And so yeah, if you're asking for a permission from someone, from your manager, for example, to do a good job, something is wrong. You should not be doing that. You should just do a good job, where good is within the constraints you have defined. And as a specific practice to do that, test-driven development and the whole family of continuous integration, continuous delivery practices are basically about that, shifting things left, evaluating them as early as in your pipeline as possible. And ideally, you would want to learn to code things knowing that no one will check them after you and they will go directly into production. That's how you should try to work as an engineer, without expecting a safety net of testers working for you and relying on the safety net of your unit integration, basically the whole pyramid of tests you create. And of course, the very basic one, always think about unhappy paths in your code. Think about what will happen when you have wrong inputs, something is not available, you have a timeout in your API call, etc. Your code should account for that, for you to have the actual quality in your software.